Woo! Welcome back, traders. It is an absolutely gorgeous, a beautiful Friday close going in to the weekend, guys, as we have DD, tinfoil, and beautiful chart setups on GameStop and AMC. It is finally time that we be back and we make some money. Let's jump straight into the tinfoil, guys. Michael Burry, a.k.a. The Big Short, a.k.a. Cassandra Unchanged, Unchained on Twitter, has been going absolutely ballistic, guys, saying, I am in the process of creating a post to tell the whole GME story. Now, this is very interesting because my man has not just released emails of Keith Gill, a.k.a. Roaring Kitty, not just of his previous hedge fund, a.k.a. Scion Management, but also Ryan Cohen. So what is he going to release? Is he going to release Ken Griffin? Is he going to release conversations with Robinhood? Is he going to release further tinfoil? Who knows? Nobody knows, but people are picking up on it. Wall Street Bets is picking up on it. Institutions are picking up on it because you look at GameStop's freaking volume today and you stand back and you see just how beautiful of a move you've had since this bottom of the falling wedge, just like we talked about, guys. I cannot preach this enough, that things do not go down forever. You are in extreme fear. You are at the oversold territory in the RSI for the first time since last year, guys. Last year. And what you've seen on the daily time frame is you saw this volume exhaustion finally come to an end. Literally perfectly. I mean, you look at how many taps along this volume trend line you had to finally see a boom, to see a pop in price alongside volume. And the fact that you got a close, ladies and gentlemen, slightly above the daily 50-day EMA and above your work cooked trend line. If I zoom out here, the work cooked trend line is something that I've had for quite some time. I've been talking about it on the channel. If you guys are new, which many of you are, we're at 999 subscribers, guys. If you guys find value or if you guys love the passion, slap the sub button. We're literally one away from 1,000. Let's make that happen. The work cooked trend line you established during your first squeeze, guys. Back in 2020, you bounced, you sent, right? Here you bounce, sent. And now you finally kind of rejected it. But this is something that we had talked about, that it's okay as long as you reclaim and confirm it as a fake out breakdown. And that's exactly what you're doing. And to be honest, I'm quite surprised with the strength here by GameStop. I did not expect it to hold above the trend line and above your death cross. But if you can hold this as early as next week, guys, and continue to consolidate, and then get back into, guys. Get back into your uptrend here. That is going to be absolutely pivotal. That's going to be so big for you guys. And for all of us as a community to get back above this uptrend that you've had since last year of August, guys. Now let's go over the weekly, because the weekly is even more insane. And there's so many different things to talk about on the weekly, but what gets me absolutely jacked, right? Absolutely freaking excited, genuinely excited about this stock. Unlike before during this falling wedge, I was excited, but to see this 11 to 12% reaction on the weekly, you have engulfed 3 weekly candles, guys. Almost a month of price action in 1 week. That is as breakout gets. And what did you do? You stopped directly on top of, you wicked off of the 200-day weekly EMA. Now, if you flip this next week, all hands are off. This thing could absolutely go ballistic. And the fact that you've done what you've done, getting back above the work hook trend line, getting back above your death cross. If you see this bullish catalyst, right, actually play out, and this is TradingView. On TradingView, I want to give you guys a different perspective, a perspective that I'm sure nobody is talking about right now. The weekly time frame. Now, we talked about this being a potential falling wedge in which you come back here and you test this $23 to $24 zone up here before rejecting and finding a new lower low. If that scenario happens, I would expect some kind of bullish divergence on the RSI here. And for that to act as a tremendous buying opportunity, not financial advice, right? You had it down here. This was your lower low, but your slightly higher low in the RSI. Now, if you have it back here, guys, all hands are off, all bets are on the table. Because what you're doing right now and what you've done today, officially accomplished, is you cross the RSI weekly midband for the first time since early September during earnings. Now, what's so significant about that? You just take a look back in time. I love trading, not based off of fractals, but based off of historical price action and watching how the stock ticker, because other stock tickers react differently, but watching how GME here reacts to these specific crosses on the indicators, you can see every single time you've crossed this weekly midband on the RSI, what happened? You saw the following week 10% breakout, 4%, 1%, and then a rejection. What was the total percentage? From the cross, you got a 26% move. This was your other cross of the RSI weekly midband down here. You saw a 60% pump. Saw it again back here, back in October of last year. You saw a 60% pump. You saw it all the way back here. And we all know this one. This one was upwards of 600%. 530, and in after hours, it went all the way up to 80. So 600% move, guys, on GME. And so when people complain about how non-volatile this stock is, it swings in big ways. And if you can identify what are the historical winning indicators in the stock's chart history, you can win big. And this is one of them. And you just flipped it, guys. You just flipped it. So I'm going to be watching if you can come back up here to your 50 line on the RSI. Because if you don't know, getting above and rejecting below the 50 line is huge. You see the 50 line, price above it acts like you're on the left side of the highway. That's how I like to describe it. You're on the left side of the highway. Things are moving fast. You're breaking the law, right? Below it, you're slow as molasses. People are merging into you. Candles are going down, right? You're currently below it, but you have the opportunity here on the weekly time frame to flip back above it, confirming a bullish trend. And that's going to be huge going into next week. On your daily time frame, let's get back to Weeble. On your daily time frame, guys, this is huge. Closing above the 50-day EMA, you've now far and beyond gapped above your 9-day EMA. I expect that to come back crashing hard. And if you can use that as support here while filling the gap, I would expect a nice size launch somewhere in this area of the low 22s to high 21s. And if that happens, ladies and gentlemen, I would expect this thing to see that daily 9 EMA cross above the 50 for the first time since back here when you got a, what was that move? 16% move. And it's not the end of the world. It's not MOAS. But these swings, these indicators crossing each other are beautifully bullish. That's the best way to describe it. It shows your short-term trend overlapping your long or your intermediate trend. So it's a beautiful thing. GameStop, absolutely bullish right now. I cannot say enough positive things. As for AMC, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, how does this affect AMC stock? Before that, though, we're going to go over IWM, and then we'll get into AMC. IWM saw almost the exact same weekly close, shooting into all-time highs. Almost. You're almost there, right? Look at the close on the weekly. Look how far you are into that candle. That is insane. You have not seen that bullish of a close since back here. And even then, you see a little bit of a wick there. But I challenge you to find a candlestick this bullish. The only thing I will say is I do not like how low your weekly volume is. But that can be explained, right? It's a short trading week. And there wasn't a whole lot of nothing going on. I would say the only other comparable candle is this one right here. But you saw your breakout of the falling, broadening wedge here. And from that, right, we talked about the possibility of a triple bullish engulfing candlestick. And that's exactly what you got. On IWM, this is bullish, right? Because not only do you have the triple engulfing, you have your weekly MACD, guys, my absolute favorite trading indicator, about to cross green. So what it looks like you got was a fake out breakdown. Everyone's in extreme greed or extreme fear, right? Meanwhile, you're only down 9.4% from the all-time highs, and I'm trying to calm people down. I'm trying to, guys, cool it, right? Holy crud. And to no surprise, you're up 6% this week with a lot of bullish catalysts on the way. Fed cutting rates, 85% likely. Monetary policy changing, right? In a bullish way. $2,000 stimulus checks. Fed chair changing. There's so much positivity. It's like a wave, right? And I would expect nothing else because as these waves come, they also go. I love the quote. You should be bullish when people are or you should be greedy when people are fearful, and fearful when people are greedy. Because it's true. It's so true. So IWM looks freaking amazing on the weekly. On the daily time frame, you did get that 9-day crossing the 50 like we talked about in our last video, and a daily hammer candle, guys. So that is a good look on IWM for further continuation into at least 252, which is literal pennies away from your previous all-time high. So I really, really like this chart, guys. Even though you're a little overextended here, you could pull back to test this channel. I still love the stock. Let's get into AMC here because AMC is the last piece of the puzzle. And it looks like you may have found your bottom. It is possible here, unless you find a nasty rejection. What I will say is I really like the volume profile here and the sell down of volume. And then your first green uptick in volume while you see a 6.52% day. Now, I did not fudge this. This is not who I am. I'm an honest person. This was drawn in our last video. You can go and look at the receipts. I do still believe you're going to come up here to 250, reject, fill the gap, make this shoulder, head, shoulder, and then potentially come up here with your profit target. This is all left from last video. Your profit target being right around this 306 to 310 zone. And what's that going to do, guys? You're going to bump your head on the shelf, aka the 200-day EMA. Potentially, right? If you see this move V-line and overextend, which I hope it does, you're going to see a break of your macro falling wedge, a break of your inverse head and shoulders pattern, and hopefully, this would be one of the most significant things you've ever done on AMC's chart, I swear. A test and a break of the 200-day EMA and a retest since the first time in 2021. Now, a golden cross is the name of the game. If you can get that, guys, you are officially flipping AMC's macro as bullish. And that, I know that may sound painful and hard to hear at frickin' 245, but it's possible. What I'm going to watch initially for, though, and what I think is so good, let me just draw a horizontal trend. Oh, yeah, baby. You got a weekly close above your previous all-time low. In my opinion, making that lower low like we had talked about doing. And what's so significant about that is if you had rejected here, you're talking about significantly lower prices. But what I'd like to see from AMC is strength here. I'd like to see strength get back above the 50-day EMA, sitting at 256. That's going to be the name of the game. Now, AMC on TradingView. I like to cover TradingView for all the different stocks because you can see here on the weekly time frame, guys. On the weekly time frame, you have officially established your bullish divergence in the weekly time frame on the RSI for the first time, guys, since February of 2022. And I know I have to zoom out pretty far, but when you saw that bullish div, guys, you saw it back here, lower low in price, higher low in the RSI. What did you get? You got a 165% move. You saw it again when you got that lower low, but a higher low as you continued to bounce along this uptrend. Now, what did you get? You got a 174% move. Now, those are just two examples, but what I'd like to cover here is something that is so important to AMC stock because you see this macro U-shaped accumulation pattern during March of 2020 and November of 2020. You have a very similar structure here, guys, of this double, triple bottom, whatever you want to call it, right? Where you make that lower low and that spring, right? You get that spring out of that low while establishing your third touch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 of bullish divergence. It looks like they're running back the playbook. And I don't believe in fractals. And I don't believe in hopium or copium or whatever you want to call it. But it looks really good here, guys. I like the weekly bullish divergence, and we're going to have to continue to see if this plays out. But so far, it is. You saw the lower low back here and the significant higher low in RSI. Lower low, higher low in RSI. So what's going to be your next task is if you can successfully get above your weekly RSI band, just like GME, if you can follow in your big brother's footsteps, you are going to see a significant move. As the last time you saw that, maybe it wasn't significant, but you did have a pretty nasty 66% run the other time. And in both of these examples, you pop it, you retest it, you run. You popped it, you retest it, you ran. In this example, when you broke it, you had run. You had run 400%. The other only time before that was when you ran back here. And it looks like AMC freaking catapults off of this thing. Ran 60% back before your dump of AMC ape conversion. I really like this setup, guys. I do. But like all things, we're going to have to continue to watch the volume, watch the candlestick closes, and keep your conviction, guys. No matter what, in my opinion. But that's all I got for today, guys. God bless each and every single one of you guys. We're going to do one more refresh. Still 999. You hate me. God bless each and every single one of you guys. And I want to close with this. This is my new slogan, my new phrase. Remember, the best is yet to come, guys. God bless. I love you. Woo!